Hello YouTube fans, here again. And I figure rather than talking about video nasties, why not this one? Classic from Wes Craven, the one that launched his career, that being The Last House on the Left, the original from 1972, The Last House on the Left. Now I'm not going to talk about it in depth because I remember doing this before. If you want to see me where I talk more in depth, I remember doing 2 parts of The Last House on the Left. I'm also going to talk about the reasons why it was a video nasty, the history, and everything about the film. But if you want to see a better one where I'm in depth, I did a 2 parts like a couple of days ago of Last House on the Left. And it was a good one. It was a good one. The film, as you know, was come out in 1972. Well, 72, Verzi worked on it in 71. And it was inspired by a movie from the 60s, a foreign film called Victoria's Summer Springs. And Wes Craven was interested in it. He never did movie directing before, he's never done anything like this, so it's more of an experiment what he was doing. It was the first time he ever did his acting, or directing his directing career. It's his first time he written and directed a film. Now, I do know originally he was going to make this bloodthirsty, he was going to make it hardcore, really bloody, really fine. If you think the film was fine, he was going to make it even more bloodier than how it originally was. And happy to say, I think one of the females who was working on the set of The Last House on the Left talks him out of it. She really had a good story to it. It was disturbing enough. It didn't need blood and gore and guys having sex with dead women and whatever else. Didn't need any of that shit. So I'm kind of happy he followed that route. Unless you know, one of the producers that did Friday the 13th also worked with Wes Craven. The same there. I do know the 2 girls were porn stars who he had working in that. He had a guy who was directing porn, funny enough. And this was David S.'s first acting career. And I've got to admit, it's not bad for his first role. He also sang some of the songs and written for the songs for The Last House on the Left. You know, The Road Leads to Nowhere, and the road he sang that a lot from, whether it's The Road Leads from Nowhere or so on. So he did write a lot of these written down a lot of the good songs to this. My only issue with The Last House on the Left is he doesn't know where it's fucking going. The man will lead to nowhere. This film does not know where the fuck it's going. One moment it's a black comedy, one moment it's a drama, one moment it's serious. That's one thing I will diff the remake it's do. So it starts off, got 2 girls, Barb and Phillips. One of them it's her birthday, and they go to this rock concert. Only their mate's stupid. They go to these strange people's house for a bit of fucking weed, and they get abducted. And the morning after, they take them to the woods. They sexy and mirate them. And I think right, they make Phillips pee herself, and if they don't, they cut Barbara. So it's definitely a fucked up film. You got one that's a they're all psychopaths. And it's an hard film to watch. Last House on the Left is an hard film to watch. It's just torture, it's rape, but it's a very well made film. It is a very well made film. The only issue is get 2 blundering cops. And if you think you see one actor, he appeared in the Featurati Kid films. He was one that played the Buddy Totes. He appeared in First Blood Part 2. And this was also one of his big breaks. I know originally he was going to play the character 2, which, as we all know, David S got that role. And the only thing with David S is he got typecasted after this. He had him play psychopaths in a lot of they call the video nasty error. You know what I mean? He appeared in the House by the End of the Park. He appeared in a movie called It Psycho, where I believe he played a psycho in that and all. So he's mostly typecasted after this. They just had him typecasted to play psychopath fucking roles. And you can see it. But as you know, they got the rape scene. That was a hard bit to watch. They start doing this was in the test and they kill, if I remember right, the Barbara. It's like hard scene to watch, but a very deftly made film, because if you've ever seen Last House on the Left, you do know they end up going to the house, the car breaks down and they end up going to the house of the girl who they murdered, called Barbara. The family find out, they get the bloody revenge, and that's where the tables turn. So it's like, to me, it's like what would happen if Sypharise turns into the animal, and that's what Mesthaven was doing. The only thing is, as 10 years went on, it come out on video. It was already banned in a number of countries. And in the UK, it was a video nasty, and I think I'm doing, and it got banned in the UK. It got banned for a number of days in the UK. And then when they did eventually released it, I think they released it on Anchor Bay. And I got it because it had the special features. It's one of the last interviews of David S. talking, may rest in peace. And it has a really, really, really good biography. That's a really good biography. And that's the only reason why I got it. But it was cut to shit. And I mean cut to shit. But I'm happy to say now, you can now get it on DVD. It's totally uncut form. The lot. I do like the bit where the father, though, in the film is making these man-made saps. And I always wonder whether this to come, Mesthaven copied that idea from Last House on the Left, and he'd use it in A Nightmare on Elm Street. Think about it. The scene when Nancy's making the taps, and Freddy's trying to get Nancy, and he's falling in them taps. And I do know that Freddy Krueger, the second name Q, was inspired by the villain in this being Q. So that's one thing I do like. But this bit's, like I say, it's trying to be a fucking comedy. Like, they've got the disturbing bit where the the initials on the girl's chest. You've got the rape scene, and then if that's not bad enough, you've got really sad music. Now You're All Alone. She's going in a pond. David S. as Q shoots her and she dies. You've got that, right? Really dramatic, really sad scene, and then it gets fucking spoiled. It gets spoiled because you've got this fucking stupid comedy scene, two blumbering cops, this woman laughing her ass off, a comedy scene with chickens. I'm not even making that up. You've got this stupid town music. And think, oh my fuck. And it just ruins the tone of the film. That scene, in my fucking eyes, ruins the tone in Last House on the Left. It ruins it. It's just poor taste. I didn't think it was fucking needed. And it just ruins the film of Last House on the Left. In my eyes, it complete and utter destroys it. But I do love the bit where they get the revenge. I do remember the scene where the main woman, who's one of the villains, gets a throat slit and falls to her doom, and they all get killed. I do remember the scene where she bites one of the baddies down there, and I do know that actor who was a director of porn. Over the years, he rejected that. He was alright directing porn and doing all that, but he rejected appearing in The Last House on the Left. That was one actor who actually hated, and I mean fucking hated, Last House on the Left. But the others, even though they got typecasted like David S. and that, it's good to know he didn't mind talking about it. And it's like I said, the main villain gets cut up. It pauses with the mother and father hugging one another. You got the scene where the father's got blood on his face, and it pauses and he looks at us, the audience. I get it. He is now them. But it's not bad than Last House on the Left. It's a very hard film to watch. I could definitely see why it got banned in a lot of countries. I imagine after the rape and murder scene, not a lot of people got to the end. If he did, it was a fucking badge of fucking honour. But other than that, Last House on the Left, it definitely launched Mesthaven. A couple of years after, I know he did a bit of porn. But then after that, he did The Hills Have Eyes. He did fucking Deadly Blessings. He did the one I just mentioned, A Nightmare on Elm Street. He did it all. So, without ado, no, it's a video nasty. It's a hard film to watch, but it's brilliantly made. And I do know they did a similar movie called The Late Teen Murders. That's like a bit of noise in the background, but they did a movie called The Late Teen Murders, which I believe is sort of like a remake of The Last House. So, without ado, a 10-star rating for me. Into them, be smart, be safe, and I'll see you later.